I guess now I'd better thank my fucking kinsmen or my clansmen or my mates. And who's that? That's the large population of men my age that have been scrabbling together to try and fit into this fucking projection by building all these fucking little houses and shit like that, and then having to defend the country against the invasion. So none of them really want a fucking house in your little shithole, in any of your little shitholes. They usually want a bit more fucking room. So I would like to request remuneration for their service to the country by providing them with a couple of different options for land. Because if you were born here, if you're a naturally born Australian citizen, and your parents were naturally born Australian citizens, and you just defended the country, pretty sure you are entitled to a piece of land. Perhaps in a small town, perhaps in a bit of bush, perhaps agricultural, I don't know. There's plenty of it there. So that's probably what you'll be getting next year. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, the raid, the 30-year female-led raid, in which you all treasonously stole, raped and pillaged this fucking earth, knowing or unknowing under the fucking demands of the Catholic Church, is over. If you're floating around down in that fucking cesspit, throwing your medical fucking thing around, being a salesman for fucking mutilation, you should know that there's some savage cunts that live in the fucking bush that are going to come and fucking raid you if we get any reports that you've been dodgy. We're just going to sneak in the cover of night and just fucking terrorise you if you continue to fucking practice that witchcraft on this fucking land. This is a hard country. This isn't a walk in the park. If you want your walk in the park to be subsidised by the individuals out there under the sun, in the fucking dirt, in the mud, then you've got another thing coming. Now, politics is meant to be all this nice, friendly thing. Look how nice and friendly I am. Yeah? Aren't I a trustworthy kind of guy? Don't you want to vote for me? But I'm not a fucking politician. I'm just wearing the fucking hat because I'm giving my tip. I'm something far different than a politician. To some people, I'll be a liberating force where they go, finally, some common sense has returned to this country and we can actually re-establish settlement, sustainable and appropriate development in a place that we barely understand. And to others, I'll be a cold, bone-chilling nightmare that will haunt you for the rest of your days on this land. And that's okay. Come what may, each to their own. To the Irish folk out there that just attempted to steal my country on the logic of that your country is colonised and so they fucking deserve it. If you can't fucking even retake Ireland, what fucking chance in hell did you think you had of fucking taking here? Ever. Like what the fuck kind of logic? And you're doing that under you're being paid. Ireland isn't colonised. Ireland is being looked after because all the Irish are too drunk and too Catholic to look after themselves. We're defending you against them. That's what we've always been doing. One day you'll thank us. Probably half years have already fucking, smelt the fucking lead paint on the wall and gone, oh, maybe a bit fucking, maybe we've had the English all wrong for the thing. They're a lot closer to us than Rome is. Maybe we should have listened to them. Like that, it's pretty much that simple. I'm fucking Irish, cunt. Yeah? And it's right. Ireland is a lot closer to England than it is to Rome. And Rome just tried all this shit. Rome, basically the influence of Rome has bubbled down through our medical fucking practices. It's drugged my mum for fucking 50 years. Yeah? Like fucking convinced you all that fucking homosexuality is the worst scourge on fucking earth, and then flipped the whole thing, used mentally unstable people that have experienced fucking gender whatever, then amplified that up to make a vector for fucking child abuse and child mutilation across the world, and then use that as a political force to try and cults control the whole fucking world. Because that was their idea. They're like, we will hold the religious framework here, and we will push the extreme, and we will control that as well. And that way we will cover the whole ground. And we're just like, no, we're just in the middle. Protestants already did that, and we just didn't do it as extremely. We don't need to hold both, because we hold both within the concept that it can be interpreted individually, and that the word of God can be seen in all things at all times. That's it. It's a very simple religion. It's definitely the best. But we're not selling it. We're not forcing it. It's just actually the logical conclusion that all individuals will come to once their head is out from the boot of Rome. So yeah, the housing fucking bubble, it's not a bubble, it's an invasionary force. It was a financial fucking weapon that is used to dispossess my mates. You dispossess my mates while they build your fucking house, and then you try and kill them with a vaccine. So what should we do with all of you fuckwits? I don't know. I'd say you guys should start getting quite generous to donations towards small town development, so that you're not encompassed by a desert. A desert filled with fucking very, very pissed off fucking pirates that have been stranded in a failed invasion and are now marauding around, salvaging anything they can from the ruins of the most unsustainable urban development / invasion force ever projected onto a fucking very fragile piece of infrastructure or land. Fragile means there's not enough water or fucking anything to keep that settlement going unless we appropriately develop the rest of it in a short period of time. If we stop import of chemical fertilizer, that whole place becomes a desert, and it will fucking destroy Perth. And then we have to start thinking, where does that chemical fertilizer coming from? Are we at war with them? Are they going to stop that? Is chemical fertilizer is also a huge thing to make explosives with, so that's why we've been stockpiling it for realsies, is so that we can have lots of fucking explosives. Aren't we fun? Aren't we a fun place to live in? Did you know that? No, you just thought that you're entitled to a fucking all the things that you're entitled to and nothing else like that exists, well, that's why I'm doing this job and you're not. So how do we go forward? We've got a bunch of fucking unknowing invadees. Is that the plural for people that want to invade? Sitting down there invading, just stolen generationing again. It's like, oh, I stolen a Australian baby? I've stolen an Australian baby? Not little old me. I'm Irish. I wouldn't have stolen Australian babies. Tried to send their dad to jail for defending the country. No way. I think that's like, it just is so funny, honestly. Oh my God. If you don't laugh in these situations, imagine how bad it would be if I didn't laugh. This is why I make so much humorous things. It's like, imagine what I've got in front of me on how to deal, like a lot of different ways to deal with the problem. It's like, maybe laugh. Maybe I should laugh. If I don't laugh, yeah, we have a dire situation. Almost every piece of that thing down there is not going to work going forward. It's like a unsustainable fucking, just, it needs so much attention. And all that attention can't be done under the circumstances of people paying, 70% of their fucking wage on a mortgage payment to perpetuate an invasion bubble. Western Australia is really, really, really big. It's really big. The politicians and bureaucrats have restricted what you can do on property and all those things. And this is what triggered my children's mother. Oh, we're living in a shed. It's like, yeah, my mum lived in a tent. In an army tent. Because we're pioneering a country. We're not in little old Dublin. It's been there for fucking 1,000 years, whatever it is. If you want that, go back there. They've got their own fucking issues. We've got different issues here. Oh, but I've got to send the kids to school. Oh, do you? Why? I'm doing this and every single thing I've learned has been after school. I have to send my kids to fucking learn how to invade their dad's territory. Because the Pope told me to. And the fucking purple-haired fucking university fucking arts degree fucking teacher that's probably fucking full of fucking Prozac and fucking Dexies needs to educate our children, Shannon, because you clearly can't do it. Honestly. I can't. Like, I hate my own situation so much because it's so frustrating. And then when I start projecting that out and knowing that there's just hundreds of thousands of people doing this across the country, I just start feeling really sick. Australia is fucking huge. But it's like, the reason I'm here making this stand is because this stand needs to be made, because this is a defensive stand against an invading force. Once that's fucking subdued, I have a bazillion fucking options in this state of what I can do to provide housing for my children, to provide education for my children, to actually start to begin to repair and develop sustainable practices on this land. Because I wasn't participating in some little fucking invasion. We've already done that. But it wasn't an invasion. We settled and colonised a place. And the biggest mistake we made was to let the fucking Catholics here to start throwing their fucking religion and their fucking strategies around of de-aboriginalisation. De-aboriginalisation, that's what the Romans do. That's what the Catholics want. They want to get rid of all the snakes in Australia, and that just ain't happening, ever. And the fact that they tried it destroyed their whole church. Isn't that funny? It's just too much. I think it's just the whole thing. I think is a joke by God to be like, oh yes, the snake got you out of the garden. Oh, you ought to, and then they've like knowing that you'd all be afraid of snakes, and you fucking slowly try and destroy all the snakes, and then you just hit Snake Island. And it's really simple. It's like, oi, we live in Australia, right? We've imposed this splat that doesn't work here. I could go and mass produce a tent that costs $20,000, I reckon. It's probably about as big as this. And I'd be quite happily live in that for the rest of my life because I know what the climate is in Australia. There is no need to have a fucking house. It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense in a big fucking sand pit that they call Perth, where you're sitting there doing, between shopping. It used to be Thursday night shopping, and now it's just shoppity shop till you fucking drop. It used to, do you know there used to be restrictions on drinking, on bottle shops, but now there isn't. It's just fucking piss up city. Whenever the fuck you want, whatever the fuck's going, piss yourself to the fucking floor. But then a virus comes, everyone has to get the vaccine. Yeah, that sounds like Rome. That sounds like Rome. It sounds like the fucking Catholic fucking hordes. It's time to drop the fucking shit. Yeah? This is to all the wogs, all the fucking Italians that on one hand say how fucking holy you are, on the next hand participate in organised crime and fucking... You just misread the room. It's like, well, I can't tell by the way I move my legs and I'm a woman's man. Just fucking combing your fucking greasy hair, strolling in thinking like, look, I run this town. And then we're just like, fucking... We'll just splat you into a fucking oblivion. You'll be like, help me, mamma mia, Italia, help us. And they're like, we're getting a fucking up too. It's a double-pronged attack. We didn't really think of this through. Oh my God. It's like two fucking snake teeth. Italy in here, just like bang, bang. I want to do it. It's lucky that I'm not on the trigger of those things. Otherwise, there would be a whole bunch of wogs getting eaten by sharks in the fucking ocean out there. Worked in Tasmania. I didn't say that. How dare he just said that in Tasmania? And then I'll be like, oh, all right, let's go to the Catholics. Let's stroll around and see what the Catholics did. Tons of shit. You fuckwits. And you tried it here with the wrong fucking place, in the wrong place, with the wrong person, with the wrong fucking everything, and you live in your fucking little shithole. And I would love to make you walk that fucking plank. I'll be like, just keep going out the plank. Let's chum the fucking water up. We're going to feed the sharks this morning. But we won't do that. We'll all get along, won't we? We're all going to get along? We're all going to get along? Should we do a big wog tour? Wog tour of the outback. We'll come in vans. Pick you up, take you for a fucking tour out to the outback and show you what the fucking country really looks like. It's big. It's fucking big. And then we'll bring you back to your wife and she can tell you what to do. So he can tell you how much you fucked up. But Genie, you fucked up, I'm no good. And then we fix the country. Just going to do a really quick episode called Is My Son a Stormtrooper? And this is to all the parents out there of police recruits. Unfortunately, the West Australian government is being accused and responded to for acts of treason and are establishing a private army in the guise of a police force. They are rushing through untrained, undisciplined, unprepared police officers in order to attempt to defend themselves against their inevitable arrest for treason. I would suggest if your son or your daughter has signed up to the police, to maybe heavily convince them to defer their employment under police to perhaps the Australian Army, or perhaps just have a break and resettle themselves and re-educate themselves to the constitutional law of the country. We do not want anyone to get hurt in this, and this whole thing is being pulled off with a bunch of lies and a bunch of dishonesty. And it's your children that are going to be expected to bear the brunt of their cowardice in this response. So it is Christmas. Sometimes it's better to speak to the parents as opposed to the kids. Kids are probably knee-deep in indoctrination of what was once a fine police force that is now a marauding bunch of stormtroopers getting ready to try and steal the country. So I know a lot of people join the police because they want to serve, but they don't want to join the military because of its risk to their lives. This was I remember I had this same thing in front of me. I was like, I want to do something. Should I join the military? Should I become a policeman? They're both kind of handy. But in this case, what's happening, they're establishing an army in the guise of police, so they are going to be on the front line and they are going to, So they've unintendingly joined a treasonous invasion force army on Australian soil. So there's two options. Either they all police themselves under the constitutional law and arrest the politicians, or they resign en masse and join the military, or just have a gap year, because there is no need for that increasing police force. The increasing police force is because of the invasion, and under situation of invasion, that amplifies all the